Hey there people, welcome to Onyx Movies. Today I am gonna narrate a Chinese youth romance film called Be With You. Spoilers ahead.
Qi Nian is a 24-year-old cartoonist facing writer's block. She has been told to create a romantic comic book, but she specializes in the action genre. Hence, whenever she makes something related to romance, it turns out awful, like a girl who expresses her love by body slamming a guy through a concrete floor. The editor-in-chief gives Qi Nian's executive editor, Ming, a deadline before they have to submit the final version of a romance comic book. If Qi Nian is unable to create a good story, she will be fired immediately. Because of nervousness, she can hardly get her creative senses flowing. Ming sighs and explains that the readers should feel their hearts beat faster when they read the romantic story. A naive Qi Nian relates the heartbeat to heart failure because she has never felt that way. Ming hands her a bunch of romance comics and leaves her to brainstorm ideas before asking her to bring them in by 5 p.m. the next day. In the following scene, Qi Nian is on a park bench outside, drawing a heart like Ming had asked her to. While she is at it, a cute dog walks up to her, eyeing her beef jerky. His collar says that his name is Qi Bao. Since their first names match, Qi Nian thinks it's her responsibility to get the dog back safely to its owner. She gives him another piece of beef jerky and holds his leash. To her surprise, he seems to already know where his owner is. He runs quickly as she tries to keep up and eventually reaches the bridge by the lake. The owner turns out to be a handsome young man named Yan Xin. He turns around in a dramatic way as Qi Nian stares at him, finally realizing what the editor meant by a rapid heartbeat. When Yan Xin asks for the leash, she stupidly shakes his hand and embarrasses herself. She tries starting a conversation, but the man's answers are curt and dismissive. He offers to buy her snacks in turn for what the dog ate, but Qi Nian refuses. All of a sudden, the dog runs off in a direction, making Yan Xin trip and fall on top of Qi Nian. When the two are only a few centimeters apart, the dog jumps over them, making them lock lips. That dog is the best wingman of all time. Yan Xin immediately jumps up, while Qi Nian remains flat on the ground, trying to understand what just happened. She gets up and bluntly asks him for his number to contact him later. Yan Xin is stunned by her openness, but before he can reply, Qi Nian gets a call from the editor, informing her that she made a mistake and the deadline is in less than an hour. Qi Nian has no choice but to rush back to the office. But before leaving, she begs Yan Xin to wait for her until she returns. Yan Xin is confused, but he decides to wait, out of curiosity. About half an hour later, he gets a call from his architectural firm and has to return home. He writes his number on a sticky note and pastes it on the bench for Qi Nian before leaving. But as soon as he turns around, the note flies away. Qi Nian arrives at the office and creates a 2-page comic book about her first meeting with Yan Xin. The editor is impressed by the elements of the comic, like the unexpected kiss and the cute dog. She encourages Qi Nian to write more about the male character, because it will surely be a hit. But to write more about him, Qi Nian will have to spend more time with him. She suddenly remembers that she asked him to wait and rushes back to the lake. When she arrives, it is already dark. Although she had expected that a handsome man like Yan Xin wouldn't wait for her, his absence still disappoints her. Yan Xin, on the other hand, goes to his office. He is a hardworking architect who owns a popular firm. His best friend and coworker, Shen, is waiting for him in the office. Shen is close to Yan Xin's family, especially his grandfather, who plays the role of matchmaker every chance he gets. The old man wants Yan Xin to get married as soon as possible, but the problem is, Yan Xin has never even had a girlfriend. Shen reveals that he was sent to tell Yan Xin about a blind date his grandfather has set up, but Yan Xin refuses to go. At night, Qi Nian goes to eat out with her friends. One of them is a professor at a university, while the others work in a firm. As they talk, some girls drop a bucket of water on Qi Nian from the floor above. The girls sheepishly come down to apologize on behalf of their drunk friend. Qi Nian's professor friend teaches the same university that the girls go to. Hence, when the girls talk about someone who broke their hearts, she immediately knows who they're referring to. It turns out that everyone is in love with a strict architecture professor. He goes to the university to break hearts every day, even though he only teaches for a month in session. The guy turns out to be Yan Xin himself. He is a university professor, alongside being the CEO of his firm. King Wu also reveals that he never remembers any student or colleague by their names. Instead, he calls them by their ID numbers. Unaware that her friend is talking about Yan Xin, Qinian brainstorms ideas on how to find him. At home, she writes a blog post about everything she knows about him, like his height and his dog's name, and asks the viewers to inform her if they know someone like him. One of the comments says that they have seen a similar guy at the university. Qinian decides to check if it is true and goes to the university the next day. The first person she meets is a girl secretly taking pictures of someone in the other block. When asked about a handsome man, she instantly understands who Qinian is looking for. It turns out that the girl takes pictures of Yan Xin and sells them to his fangirls for money. She has basically opened a merchandising business out of his popularity. When Qinian reveals she doesn't want his picture, the stalker is confused. To avoid having to explain, Qinian simply says that she is the man's girlfriend. Just then, security guards arrive looking for the stalker. Before running away, she asks Qinian to take the front seat in the architectural block's lecture hall. While she is at it, she slips a memory card into Qinian's bag, so that even if she gets caught, her hard work won't be seized. Qinian takes a seat in the said lecture hall and is surprised when Yan Xin walks in as the professor. They lock eyes, and Qinian waves at him, but he plays it cool and continues taking attendance. She notices a puzzle box on the podium and finds out that every year, Yan Xin challenges his students to solve the puzzle. The one who solves it can ask him for anything they want, but Yan Xin is sure that none of the freshmen can solve a puzzle so advanced. After the class, the girls take turns trying to solve it, but fail miserably. A few minutes later, he walks into the hall to notice that Qinian has already solved it. Surprised, he asks her to come to his office. She notices the memory card in her bag and brings it out, but Yan Xin seizes it. He connects it to his computer to find out that it has nothing but pictures of him. Qinian swears that the card isn't hers, and her intentions with him are pure, but the comment doesn't make Yan Xin feel better. He puts the topic aside and asks her how she managed to solve the puzzle. It turns out that her father was also an architect and had boxes like it lying around the house all the time. She used to play with them as a child, hence, she knows how they work. She also explains an elaborate way to solve it, which impresses Yan Xin. As for her reward, she asks to be his teaching assistant so she can be closer to him. Yan Xin agrees, but claims that to keep her job, she needs to make him remember her name by the end of the week, or she will have to resign from her post. Qinian thinks the task should be easy, but little does she know that Yan Xin doesn't even remember his best friend's name. To him, it is just a waste of time, but Qinian is adamant to win the challenge. Later, she tells Ming about her progress and writes a few more pages of the comic in relation to her recent conversation with Yan Xin. Ming loves the creativity and encourages her to maintain the post as teaching assistant, seeing that it helps her manifest ideas. On her first day at work, Qinian walks behind Yan Xin, reciting the day's schedule to him. She tries to make him say her name, but he repeatedly calls her by her ID number. As they talk on the stairs, the stalker girl clicks their pictures. Yan Xin notices her and gets closer to Qinian, just to spite her and give her something to talk about. A while later, he catches the stalker girl red-handed, but it is revealed that she is his cousin, GQ. He seizes her camera and asks her to apologize to Qinian for setting her up by planting the memory card in her bag. GQ refuses at first, but agrees when he promises to return the camera if she does as told. In the following scene, Yan Xin walks into the lecture hall to find Ming under the podium. She shows him a notebook with her name and even translates the name to 7-year itch so he can engrave it in his mind. Yan Xin quietly whispers that they can 7-year itch after marriage and kisses her on the lips. That was confusing, but it was sexy. Just then, Qinian wakes up and realizes it was only a dream. In the next lecture, she decides to bring her dream to life and hides under the podium. But unlike in the dream, Yan Xin immediately asks her to come out and sends her to her seat. Yan Xin doesn't lose hope and continuously tries to make him remember her name. She even goes as far as to print her name on a shirt and change his laptop's wallpaper to her face. Still, he calls her by made-up expressions, much to her annoyance. One day, she is informed that Yan Xin won't be coming to university for a week because of some urgency at work in the firm, but he has left her a lot of assignments to do in his place. Keenan is distressed because she has absolutely no qualifications for this job and never should have received it. Also, when Yanshin returns after a week, he will surely have forgotten her name. But after talking to his cousin, she finds out that reputation means a lot to Yanshin. Hence, starting the next day, she does her best as a teaching assistant in his absence. When Yanshin finally returns a week later, everyone praises Keenan in front of him, from the janitors to the teachers. Later, the two meet outside in the rain. Keenan hopes to be praised for her excellent work, but he gives her an F for trying too hard. Suddenly, a passing car splashes water at them, soaking them in puddle water. To help her, Yanshin brings Keenan to the staff room and lets her change into dry clothes. After both are changed, Keenan points out that he already remembers her name, but is refraining from saying it. Yanshin neither denies nor confirms the claim. Instead, he asks her what her true intentions are. Keenan abruptly claims that she has a crush on him. As they talk, she trips on his feet and falls to his chest. At the same time, Yanshin's grandfather enters the room. He catches them in the act, but cannot believe that his grandson has a girlfriend. The three sit down to talk, and the old man reveals that he had set up a blind date for Yanshin. In a moment of panic, Yanshin says that Keenan is his girlfriend. The old man doesn't believe it, and asks him to say her name if she really is his girlfriend. Keenan also encourages him to do the same. With no way out, he tells her name to his grandfather. Keenan adds to the lie, saying that she will always take care of his grandson. After the grandfather leaves, Yanshin has no choice but to accept defeat and allow Keenan to continue working as his assistant. She is overjoyed that she finally gets to be with the man of her dreams, and also write about him. Yanshin, on the other hand, is secretly happy about his new assistant. In the end, even a cold and arrogant professor like him has finally started to fall for someone. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching.